G'day guys, Derbyites, we are here. Emmy nominations came out this morning. There were some big shocks. We're picking our jaws up off the floor. I think some of us are happy with how things went down. Some of us are a bit disappointed with some of the snubs, but I thought let's start off by just what is the headline to take away from this year's Emmy nominations. We don't want to bury the lead here at Gold Derby. And we'll start off with you, Charles. What would you say the headline is that we'd take away from today?
Headline, I would say, for drama, it's several formidable contenders, but Breaking Bad still probably out front. With comedy, I'd say Modern Family has probably its biggest challenge of its run so far, with strong showings from both Veep and Orange is the New Black.
Rob, what's your headline?
For me, the headline is Emmy voters do not like network shows. The Good Wife should have been nominated. Everybody thought it would be there. The networks actually do make really good stuff, and I think out of comedy and drama, only 2 shows are from the broadcast networks. They make really good shows too. The Emmy voters aren't watching them.
Yeah, James Spader missing out too for the Blacklist. Another network person that was really in the mix. Ralph, what is your headline?
Yeah, just like Rob. I mean, network shows got beat up today. Only 2 in the comedy category got in, and I mean that's pretty horrendous for them. But there was a lot of diversity too as well. I think I read somewhere that 11 African American actors and actresses got in this year, which is a record. So if anything, at least there's that.
And Riley, your headline.
Okay, so I'd say Modern Family is done, and secondly, never underestimate HBO. Got Silicon Valley and Tremaine with 100-to-1 odds at Gold Derby.
Yeah, 99 nominations for HBO. As always, the leader. Just could have got one more person in. Could have been the 100. So what a HBO thinking, who could we have gotten in to get those 100 nominations? For me, the headline is probably Breaking Bad, Veep, and Orange is the New Black had a great morning with nominations. Breaking Bad got their most nominations of all time this season, which I think was an incredible accomplishment. And let me just check the exact numbers, but is an incredible accomplishment. They got 16 nominations, up 3 from last year. Every year, they've either got the same or built on their past nominations, and great that they were able to increase, even though they haven't aired a new episode in so long. That they were able to trend up. Last year, as you know, they were airing the final season as all this stuff was going down, so the buzz was very high. But they've just climbed on up. Veep had their best year of all time, getting up to 9 nominations. And Orange is the New Black straight out of the gate with 12, getting more than Modern Family, more than Veep. We're going to talk about these series races in a minute, who's out in front. But first I might just say, are there any big shocks from any of the races? I might start with you, Ralph, because it might be a contender in the lead actress drama series you're a bit disappointed not to see this morning.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga. I was pretty disappointed not to see her back in the ring. The other one I just can't talk about. Yeah, I don't know I don't know what Tatiana Maslany can do now to get into this category at all. I mean, she did everything she could this year. The critics, obviously, Critics' Choice don't mean crap to Emmy voters. I thought with the new online nomination system that they ran, that potentially she could sneak in there. She had a lot of buzz, way more than last year. People know who she is now. They sent screeners to the acting branch, and I mean, it just didn't happen, and that's a bummer. I mean, because she could have won that category, and the category would have been more meaningful with her in it, I think.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Tatiana, guys? I really thought the prediction for her was Emmy fan fiction, Emmy predicting fan fiction. I thought too small a network, too many big names competing here. But it's still a real shame not to see her. Any other thoughts here, guys?
I would say lack of recognition of Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a pretty shocking thing.
Yeah, that threw me. No Andy Samberg either.
Mm-hmm.
So huge shock there. I think what I was with the Brooklyn Nine-Nine snub is really a testament to when you've got a new show in its first season, you really can't count the chickens because you don't know how Emmy voters are going to respond if it's caught on with them or not. And I guess in that sense, I wasn't hugely shocked. Like, they preferred Silicon Valley to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I guess we'd never seen how they responded to either of those two shows. But, yeah, real shame for Sandberg and the crew. Hot off their Globes win. Yeah, any other, Rob, anyone that you thought was snubbed?
Well, look, apart from the Good Wife thing that I've talked about, I noticed yet again that Emmy voters just aren't really interested in Survivor anymore, which is a real shame. When they read out the contenders in that category, it was just the same old rubber stamping. Where was Survivor? Had one of the strongest seasons ever, and is really one of the best reality competition series on TV, and it should be there. It's the grandfather of them all, and it really needs to be in that category. And they just obviously have moved on, and I will never, ever, ever raise this again in any future Emmys because there's just no point. They don't like it, and they don't want to nominate it or its brilliant host, Jeff Probst. So, yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, really appalling. That's one of the worst decisions by the Emmys this year. I think Survivor, who might blast me for this, I think not the best reality competition program of the last year, perhaps the best television program, or in the top 3 or 4 from the past season. It's the way it was able to tell its story the past couple of years. The past season or two was just really, really strong. So yeah, I'm really upset by that one. That's probably one of my biggest drops. Riley, a snub?
Yeah, going back to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like the thing about that one too is it got 2 nominations for Andre Braugher and stunt coordination, right? And it's not like voters even watch the show because they'll nominate Andre Braugher for anything. So I think that it was for Brooklyn Nine-Nine is irrelevant. And then the stunt nomination, it's the only cop show in a whole bunch of sitcoms, so obviously I'll get in.
And I also just got to give a quick... sorry there. Go on.
Sorry, like another snub that I think people maybe in this chat would be disappointed by is Emmy Rossum for Shameless. Because Shameless got in William H. Macy and Joan Cusack. But again, either of those nominations, I'm not sure they're actually for Shameless. I think if people were watching Shameless, then Emmy Rossum would get a nomination. I think this is just a result of them switching over to the comedy side, where there's less competition, and it is not a result of a stronger season or anything like that.
So you guys pretty much just trying to throw daggers at me this whole chat?
It's a good point that he makes. It is
it's a great point. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Because
I think it was...
Like, surely she should have made it through. Of all years, they finally broke through and got some good nominations for that show, and not Emmy Rossum. Like, what does she have to do, just like Tatiana, to actually get a nomination from these people? It's shocking.
And I just got to give one other snub shout out to one of my favorite shows, Rick and Morty, that I wrote that article about earlier, and been actually communicated with the creator of that show, Justin Roiland, a little bit. They should have gotten in, but sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I just want to also say that FX really tried hard to get the Americans over the line this time, and obviously the voters, that's just a show they don't like. So again, only 1 nomination this time, so they did worse. Only Margot Martindale, and just like what we said earlier.
Oh, Rob, you've gone on mute.
Rob, you're on mute.
It looks
You good?
Okay, am I good now?
You're good
Can you
now.
hear me now?
You're good now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear you now.
So the Americans is an issue. You know, Hannibal is one of my favorite shows as well, and wasn't expecting that to completely rule the roost today. But nothing like Anna Nicole, that TV movie, has better makeup than Hannibal, and you know, it's just things like that that really bother me. You know, Scandal did very well; they got 3 actors, but Bellamy Young, the highlight standout from the season, not nominated. So those things disappoint us, unfortunately, but it's just the way it is. The Emmy voters have spoken. We just have to live with it.
We've got some comments in the chat room. Tony Rue says, Anna Faris, sad face, another big snub. We're expecting her to get in for Mum. And Tony Rue has also said he thinks the problem with Survivor is that the people on the show are just despicable. Emmy voters are tired of seeing people act like assholes in order to win money. So it could be a factor. They're obviously more bigger fans of singing competitions and, I don't know, fashion. I don't know. People were pretty bitchy on that Project Runway. I don't really. Anyway, so let's talk about some of these races now. It's never too early to start predicting who wins. The Emmy race is well and truly open now. We can make informed decisions now. We've got nominations out. There are obviously still submissions, and of course, send through questions to us in the goldderby.com homepage. Chat room, it's up there right now, and also in the Google, I don't know how you work out that Google Hangout question thing, send them through to us as we go through each of the races. And let's start off with comedy series, because I think the big question is Modern Family's won Boys in the Row, staring straight down the barrel of Emmy history. If it can win this year, it ties with Frasier for 5 in a row. No drama series has ever won that many. Only Frasier in the comedy series race. Let's talk. What can take down Modern Family? Let's start with Charles.
It would seem, based on the nominations, that there are 2 main contenders to take down Modern Family. One would be Veep, which just earned its third bid for a comedy series. It got 9 nominations total. That's 4 more than last year. And Orange is the New Black, which earned 12. Veep broke into the writing category finally. It's never done that before. Orange is the New Black got nominations across the board, including writing and directing. I think the problem with that, though, is that there are 2 legitimate alternatives. If there was one standout alternative, it would be much more plausible. But at least right now, it seems like with that having 2 of them just splits the vote, and you still have Modern Family coming out on top.
Mm-hmm. Also nominated in that category are The Big Bang Theory, Silicon Valley, and Louie. Does anyone think any of those 3 shows can challenge the 3 that Charles just identified as the front runners?
I think Silicon Valley is counting just because it got writing and directing.
Yeah, that's a good point. But no, really, let's be honest. This is not. Silicon Valley was very fortunate to be in that category. It was a huge surprise and really great, fantastic. But Modern Family will either win this by default because they just can't help themselves, more rubber stamping, or Orange is the New Black or Veep will win because they have the most nominations, they've covered the field, and they obviously are more well-known and popular shows as opposed to Silicon Valley, which is still very new and not really hasn't made a cultural impact like Orange has. That's just how I think they differ.
Kevin Bacon, Kevin Baker in the chat room says, are you surprised that Silicon Valley got a series nom when it only got nominations for art direction, main titles, writing, and directing? So even though it picked up those writing and directing nominations, the rest of their performance was few and far between. And I think no actors getting in, which Jason has just said in the chat room too, also is sort of the arrow down for Silicon Valley. Any thoughts, Ralph?
Yeah, I was just surprised that I wasn't surprised Silicon Valley got in. I actually had predicted them to get in my nomination predictions because the buzz around here, around Hollywood, Silicon Valley is pretty well known and pretty established over here. So I wasn't surprised at all. I was surprised that Evan Welch didn't get in as a posthumous nomination. He did get a Critics' Choice Awards, and I thought if Silicon Valley had gotten at least one actor in, I think it would be a formidable contender to take down something like Modern Family or with Orange or with Veep. But I don't think anything is going to beat Modern Family. I don't think any show has 6 great episodes like Modern Family has 6 great episodes. And I'm not even a huge Modern Family fan. They just had a really great last half of the year, which I think is going to push them over to their 5th. And I don't think anybody would argue that.
Did Emmy voters notice it had a great year, though? Because nominations were down this year for Modern Family. Their weakest showing ever with nominations.
Yeah, but they were only down by 2. They were down Ed O'Neill and Sofia Vergara, and it's not like Veep took those 2 spots, which you would think it would at least take one more of the supporting actors if it was that strong of a contender. And it's not like, Orange took Kate Mulgrew, but that knocked out Merritt Wever, so it's not like you could really say it was punished too hard. So I don't buy that just because it lost 2. I mean, it's still got what, 10 nominations. That's still a crap load that any show would be happy to get.
Yeah, it's still more than Veep. They beat Veep by 1. Riley, who are you calling for this race?
I'm calling Orange is the New Black because I always talk about the tech nominations. People don't really like to talk about them because they're not glamorous. But if something gets, if somebody likes the acting on Orange is the New Black, that doesn't mean that they necessarily like the show. Whereas I think with a few of these technical categories, like let's say editing or sound mixing, to be honest, I'm not sure people are sure really what they're judging because they don't have, the reels. They don't know what decisions the editor made, so they end up just voting for their favorites. So if you look at something like editing, where Orange is the New Black has 3 nominations, and Modern Family has 1, Veep has 0, that's somewhere where each show had multiple submissions, and you can kind of see which one vote splitting affected and which one it didn't. So I would say Orange is the New Black is the one to beat.
It did get a lot of nominations, but what I'd throw at you, Riley, is that we see shows like Desperate Housewives, these hour-long shows, Glee, come out of the gate for their first season, where there's a lot of nominations come their way, and then they just can't close the deal when it comes to the series race.
Sure, it's not about getting the most nominations, though.
Okay.
I mean, Homeland a few years ago got only 9 nominations, ended up beating Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Downton Abbey, shows that had a lot more. But if you actually looked at Homeland's nominations, it got all the key categories. It got casting, editing, sound mixing, writing, directing, acting. It was very well represented in the key categories, and that's what Orange is the New Black is. I mean, Modern Family, they're missing writing, they're also, losing support just versus last year.
Rob, what are you calling for this race?
I don't know. I just don't know. It's hard to say because
pick a show, Rob. Come on, get off the fence.
Pick a show. Modern Family will
spin
probably...
your kid around and have him hit something.
Yeah, bang, Modern Family. I think Modern Family will probably tie the Frasier record because it did have a good year, and I agree with what Riley's saying, but the general membership, when they're voting for this category, will just vote for the show that they love, and they really do love this one. And it will have very good tapes. Not that I think that really matters in the series races. I just think overall, this one will probably do it again. And if anything can contend against it, it's going to be Veep or Orange is the New Black, and we'll be saying this for the next few weeks. But really, I think Modern Family will do it, and fine. They did have a very good year. So there you go.
I think one thing to keep an eye out for is if Modern Family does manage to win their 5th in a row, I would want to DVR that moment, because you can actually go on YouTube and watch the end of the ceremony when Frasier won its 5th consecutive one, and you can almost hear the groans in the crowd. So I know Chris has brought this up a couple times, and I always think it bears repeating because it's an amusing moment, and it'll be interesting to see what the crowd reaction is if Modern Family takes it for a 5th time.
I'm probably at the moment, like, and I definitely think the fact there are 2 contenders for this prize does help. 2 alternates is going to help. That's a good point by Charles. That'll help Modern Family. But I'm leaning towards Veep at the moment. I think it's sort of nicely built on its nominations each year. Last year we saw it got 2 acting wins. It did very well on the Guild circuit over the summer. So I just think that maybe stars have aligned for Veep. Maybe not enough, but maybe, just maybe, Veep has that Emmy win in reach at a time when maybe, just maybe, there's a bit of Modern Family fatigue. But we'll see. This is a nail biter. Let's go to drama series. And there was a great the last Slugfest that happened earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon. There was a good discussion about Breaking Bad and whether Marcus Dixon, our good friend, thinks locked to win. Everything else dead to rights, lock it down. Others thought way too old a show. What do we come down on the Breaking Bad question? Is it just too old to win, or is it unstoppable? We'll start with Riley.
Well, Breaking Bad got 2 makeup nominations, so that's how badly they want to award this show. It also got nominated for casting for the first time ever, even though they didn't really cast anybody this year. It got nominated, in every category that it needs. It got more nominations than ever. It won last year. Its most acclaimed show, almost. What more you need?
Ralph?
I'm completely on the same train as Marcus. I don't think anything can really beat it, though I am kind of hesitant because Dean Norris didn't get in, and I thought for sure he'd at least get one of those like goodbye nominations, or maybe even Betsy Branch. She didn't get in, but the fact that it went up from 13 to 16 nominations, or I think that was total. And it's just, I don't see anything else beating it. True Detective has obviously a great shot. The ending was horrible, but aside from that, I don't think. And also, it helps that Breaking Bad is on Netflix. I mean, people can go back and revisit it. I went to a Breaking Bad event a couple months ago, and it was sold out. It was an Academy event, and it was completely sold out. They were turning people away from the door. I mean, there's still a really strong passion for the show, just as Riley pointed out right now.
Rob?
I agree with what everyone's saying about Breaking Bad. It does appear to be unstoppable. Usually you need a very strong contender to knock it off, and that generally appears to be True Detective. Although, shoot me down if you want to, but Game of Thrones did get a whole bunch of nominations, very high tally, obviously because it's it's a epic period piece, so they have that edge over the other shows. But Breaking Bad, it's just become a legend now. I can't imagine them not giving it to them. I don't buy the argument that it's too old. I don't think that's relevant. I really don't. I think Breaking Bad is certainly going to win, and the drama series category is kind of boring because I think it's pretty much wrapped up. That's how confident I am about Breaking Bad.
Charles?
I was just thinking that. With the case of both Breaking Bad and True Detective, those stories that are covered on those that were covered on those programs have ended. Now, True Detective will be coming back, but it is going to be a different. It's going to be a different story and cast. So, what's the main difference between how those 2 shows were acclaimed? The ending. Everybody loved the ending to Breaking Bad, and I have met almost no one who thought, wow, True Detective really ended well. So I'm inclined to say I want it to be true, but I'm still, I look at True Detective, I look at House of Cards. Hell, Downton Abbey had a good showing today. So, it's
You think
one I'm
Downton
very
Abbey's
hesitant.
got a chance to win, Charles?
I'm
You think
just saying,
Downton
it's something
Abbey...
that worries me. It's something that worries me. And
Yeah, it did have
I'm
a
one of
good
those
showing.
people. I'm one of those people who, little turbulence on a plane, I start hiding my food away to hide from the other survivors. Okay? I'm just one of those people. So I'm just looking at all those contenders and just worrying. That's all.
Yeah. Downton Abbey had an alright showing. It had the same showing it had last year.
More than most of us thought it was going to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is true.
Yeah.
It did surprise. The True Detective really throws a spanner in the works because we never quite had this sort of anthology, standalone season competing with the lead actor in an Oscar winner from this year, and Woody Harrelson, from HBO. There just seems so many things in its arsenal for True Detective. I wouldn't vote for it, and I think the fact that Breaking Bad got more nominations than it ever has before really gives me a lot of confidence in feeling like it's not stale. But boy, if True Detective won, I wouldn't be shocked.
No, that's right. No one's talked about House of Cards either, although that probably won't win. That did very well. It has the writing and directing. It has lead actor, lead actress, both guests got in. So, I mean, that did very, very well for Netflix. I think Breaking Bad is so way out front, but if we're talking about a spoiler, I'm not sure that it's True Detective. I'm really not really in that camp. I think it's more House of Cards and Game of Thrones than True Detective, personally.
So you put True Detective fourth?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay. That's it. House of Cards could throw us all under a train this year.
Yeah, that's right.
It is sort of a cool choice for voters because it represents the future of television with the Netflix streaming thing. Kevin Spacey's very popular, very well respected at the center of it, and it had a better season this year. It picked up its nominations, and it's sort of a cool It's a cool show, but it's also like old people in Washington, very Shakespearean feel. It hits up Academy demos. It's not like an Orange is the New Black, which might be too female skewing, or might be too young skewing, or might be too whatever skewing. It skews well. So, anyone else high on the House of Cards as a spoiler?
Yeah, the thing about House of Cards is that it didn't actually miss any nominations. It just got everything we expected, and then it got way more than that. It got 2 guests, which actually showed that they watched the whole season this time, too, because last year I thought it was really suspect when Corey Stoll wasn't nominated when he was considered the standout, but it's because he wasn't in the first couple episodes that they just wanted to see what David Fincher did, and they checked it and moved on to the next show. This year, Reggie Cathy's episode 9 or something, but they got nominations for all the important tech categories, like editing and sound, and they were very strategic with their nominations too, where they usually submitted just 1 episode per category. So it's hard to tell if their votes would have been split, or if they would have gotten even more nominations if they had submitted more. So there's really nothing against House of Cards. We think that's bigger.
Yeah.
I think it's got a chance. I mean, it's a pretty obviously a very popular show. I probably thought it would have more of a chance if Molly Parker had gotten nominated because she had a lot of initial buzz when the show first premiered back in February. But how cool would it be, or maybe not cool, but political would it be if House of Cards? Well, if you haven't watched House of Cards or Veep, though, don't listen to this part. But if they both won for seasons where both of their candidates become president in some weird way.
Yeah, that would be cool. And also, just talking about Game of Thrones, if you're in their camp, wouldn't you be very happy as well with their showing? Lena Headey got in, even over Emilia Clarke, but that's not to be discounted completely either. It's in the same boat as House of Cards.
Is Lena Headey over Emilia Clarke great news for the Game of Thrones producers? Not necessarily because it's the same number of nominations, but that might mean they actually watched the show.
They watched it.
Like
That's
they were
right.
making a conscious decision to change their votes, right or wrong, whichever one you prefer. They made a decision. The voters thought, we're changing to this person because we think they had a better year this year.
Right.
So like that's great for it. We've got some comments in the chat room. 24 Emmy. How will Gold Derby survive without Breaking Bad next Emmy season?
We'll survive just fine.
We're going into withdrawal.
Yeah. And Tony, I think Game of Thrones is ahead of House of Cards. So boy, like Game of Thrones, like hard to argue against 19 nominations. It being a great voting for the show. Let's try to burn through some of these acting categories now. Let's start with the comedy lead races. They'll probably be a bit quicker to get through. Anyone predicting anyone other than Julia Louis-Dreyfus to take it out? Speak now.
Yeah, I think I think it depends on what she submits. I think Taylor Schilling has a really great chance if she submits the pilot. But I mean, you know, again, it really depends on if Julia submits was that episode where she was in the bathroom with Tony Hale and they were laughing, and I forgot what the episode title was called. It was a great scene, but Selena was not a good person in that episode. She was pretty downright awful, and so I don't see how any voters would vote for her for, you know, being a whiny brat and then you know, becoming president. So I think if she submits the actual season finale, though, I think she's a lot to win. I don't think anybody would beat her.
Yeah. Like Taylor Schilling, I think that I don't think that's a crazy suggestion. I think in some ways this is the thing with the Emmy Awards too for people. Like you have different panels each year voting on the categories. It's not the same. It's going to be a small group of about 70 to 100 sort of people maybe voting on lead actress in a comedy series. Not the same people who voted last year on the category and not the same people who voted on other categories. If there's a panel that's more into that sort of dramedy sort of performance, Taylor Schilling's going to be your go-to person this year, I imagine. We'll have to wait for tapes. Maybe Eve Falco has something amazing or whatever. But look, Taylor, and with all the nominations Orange is the New Black got, you know, it's not out of the question. Kevin Baker does say in the chat room, if Julia Louis-Dreyfus submits Crate, which is the episode you were referring to, he thinks she'd be a big lock. So there you go.
Can I make a quick point? It's really hard to predict these categories until we know the episodes, and we're just spitballing. But I might even go out on a limb and say Melissa McCarthy, and people will throw shit at me, but honestly, when she won last time, people thought that was ridiculous to even say that she would win, but she did have the strongest, or the funniest, laugh out loud, ridiculous tape, and if she has that again, and she wins, and people lose their mind over it, I just want to call that now. I just want to put that out there.
They won't vote for her if they've seen Tammy.
I think yeah. Anything else anyone? Any other comments on comedy lead actress?
Well, we've seen Melissa McCarthy submit a tape just as strong as the one that she won with, and go head-to-head with Julia Louis-Dreyfus submitting a tape where, you know, it's not really that good. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus still manages to win. So I would give the edge to her. I haven't been impressed with the Julia Louis-Dreyfus tape yet from Veep. I thought the same thing that Rob said. Like, you know, we should wait until the episodes, then we should watch the episodes, and then make our decision about who we think should win. But this year, I've come to the realization, based on the last year, that all that is relevant to winning no matter what.
Yeah, it was very divisive last year whether Julia Louis-Dreyfus had a great tape or not a great tape amongst us editors. I thought she had a great tape last year, and Emmy voters agreed with me. So I think she could have some great tapes this year too, Riley. Let's Charles, do you have a comment on?
No, I'm completely in the same camp. I'm completely in the same camp. Probably Julia, but watch out for Taylor Schilling.
Yeah. Comedy actor. Let's just go down the line and everyone give their. Also nominated in that category: Lena Dunham from Girls, Edie Falco, Nurse Jackie, and overdue Amy Poehler from Parks and Recreation. I think they're the people we didn't end up talking about. So just for those keeping score at home. Comedy actor, let's just go down the line and say who we're predicting for that category. Charles, who are you going with?
Oh, it is very tough. I'm torn between Ricky Gervais and William H. Macy. The weird thing is that I actually have not seen either of those programs, but you'd think that with the material that they're given, especially someone like William H. Macy, who's also just a really well-respected, not just at the Emmys, but just actor in general, he would definitely have an edge there, all depending on what they submit. But then again, Jim, I know it's not a very popular opinion, but Jim Parsons could very well win Emmy #4.
Rob?
I'm going with Macy because I have a feeling the tapes will help him. He'll have a lot of material. I would like to see Matt LeBlanc win an Emmy, but I don't know that will happen. He has the episode, but for episodes, pardon the pun, it's so bad. But yeah, William H. Macy at this point, I think.
Ralph?
I think William H. Macy, for sure. I think if he submits an episode called titled Emily, which I believe was the 9th episode, or I'm sorry, the 12th episode of the season, that there's nobody that'll be able to beat him in this category. He was awesome in it. It was his episode to shine. But I do think Ricky Gervais is a huge threat to win for Derek. I mean, nobody knows about it, but obviously a lot of the Academy knows about Ricky Gervais and about Derek because he got some shocking nominations. But still, I think it's going to be Macy's to take.
Riley?
The thing I worry about with William H. Macy and Ricky Gervais is I haven't seen their best tapes, but I would imagine that they do a good job of balancing the comedy and the drama, kind of pull up the strings, which I think we saw previously with Steve Carell with his finale when he was leaving. He was running through half of it, and Steve Carell is also variably funny. I think sometimes the voters, they just prefer a Jim Parsons performance. Really, the only thing beat him is John Cryer giving like a better, more comedic performance. Yeah, material that year.
Yeah, Riley, your mic's playing up a bit, so it's a bit hard to hear you. Maybe, I don't know, turn it off and back on or something like that. That'd be good. So I'm actually picking Gervais at the moment to take this out. I mean, he's surprised to get in. I think he's got sort of very sympathetic and very acting performance for Ricky Gervais in that show that might impress people, as someone fresh to go with. And he's surprised before in this category. So, but William H. Macy, we've got to wait to see the tapes really here, because it's sort of in some ways there's no clear front runner other than Jim Parsons, who we haven't talked about much, but he could definitely win another Emmy. Also nominated in this category is Louis C.K., which I'm surprised no one mentioned when we were going down the line. Is just stock completely down on Louis C.K.?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes from Rob. No one. He could win it.
No, I don't think so. Not for acting. I mean, if he couldn't win the for the last time, and we all thought he had a really good chance, I just can't imagine this time. I've seen the whole season, like most of us now, and there is some good stuff, but it's just so understated, and he seems to be more revered for his writing, directing, editing, casting, craft services. The acting, not so much.
Yeah. Are we being Charlie Brown here, though? Because I've heard on a lot of these slugfests over the last couple of years, if this person couldn't win for that episode, then they can't win for this episode. Or if this person won for that episode, then they have to win for this episode. And it doesn't always work out that way.
True.
But I do tend to agree with that assessment. Let's switch over to drama actor. Or drama acting. Oh, we'll start with actor. McConaughey, Cranston, Showdown of the Century, Tony winner from this year, taking on Oscar winner from this year.
Fantastic.
It's got all the makings of a great Hollywood showdown. Who are we all siding with? Let's start with Charles and work our way down. Charles, who are you backing?
I'm thinking McConaughey right now. The one interesting thing when you called it a showdown and the picture that was on the website this morning, all I'm thinking is, could we actually have Matthew McConaughey and Bryan Cranston do a boxing match in the middle of the Emmys and just have them fight it out, and whoever's the last one standing actually wins? Because that's just really what this contest is. The others should be glad to be invited to the party. Though I think actually one to watch out for is Woody Harrelson. I think Woody Harrelson could pull off a big upset here. I probably need to rewatch the True Detective episodes, but there could be a very good instance of where if McConaughey submits a particular episode and Harrelson submits one that complements it, the voters will actually get more of an arc of understanding about his character that they wouldn't get if it was just Woody Harrelson just submitting one episode.
Yeah, I actually think we could be and I wrote an article on possible upsets at the Emmys. I'm not sure if it's up on the homepage yet, but and Woody Harrelson was my number 2, and I think we could be sleeping on this detective. Like, I think because all the focus is on Matthew McConaughey, but when they get those tapes, there's a chance that he's going to have some real chops, Woody, and not only get some real chops, but in some ways, he's got more TV credentials than Matthew McConaughey. He might be more the TV Academy's pick. Yeah. Old Woody
he's already
from Cheers.
Yeah, he's an Emmy winner.
Exactly.
Yeah. He got nominated for Game Change a couple years ago.
Right.
Like,
he was nominated several times for Cheers. I think it's kind of crazy to call it a Cranston versus McConaughey battle without Woody Harrelson, because I mean the guy's an Emmy favorite.
Yeah, and he has explosive tapes to choose from. And reading down, this is a category, okay? Forget comedy actor. We've got Bryan Cranston, Emmy legend, Tony winner. Kevin Spacey, 2-time Oscar winner. Jon Hamm, 10-time Emmy nominee, obviously not won yet, huge overdue factor. Jeff Daniels, won last year. Woody Harrelson, Emmy legend, winner of the Emmy for Cheers, and Matthew McConaughey, the incumbent Oscar winner. Like, really, this is incredible. What a great category. Any of those could certainly lay claim to the Emmy this year. I don't think it's a showdown between McConaughey and Cranston. I think Woody Harrelson is really the spoiler here. I would love to see Jon Hamm win. That's not going to happen. It's going to be Bryan Cranston. That's where I'm going.
Can I say one, Jon Hamm? A real big kudos to him. This is his 7th nomination in this category for this role. This is something that James Gandolfini was not able to do for The Sopranos, that Martin Sheen was not able to do for The West Wing, that Hugh Laurie was not able to do for House, and what Kiefer Sutherland was not able to do for 24. We've never, well, in a long time with all these great performances, we've never had someone get to that 7 since maybe Dennis France did back in the day, maybe back in the day, but since sort of in a post-Tony Soprano world, we have not had someone get 7 noms in this category. Jon Hamm's done it, and I took him out of my predicts because I did think, he's not going to get to 7. Hugh Laurie, Martin Sheen, James Gandolfini, none of them did. James Spader also didn't, although I think he only had six chances. So anyway, and we've lost Riley, so hopefully
it's
Riley
so
will
upset.
So it's fuming.
It's furious, yeah.
So
since when is the mid-90s back in the day? My goodness.
So yeah, like 2014 years ago. So we've got a drama actress. Who we call? I'm predicting McConaughey. Ralph, who are you going with?
I'm going with Cranston, and I'm having Harrelson as my spoiler, and also for the fact that in that stat that I sent you guys today, that no Oscar winner that's been nominated for an Emmy in the same year has won it in 43 years. And so it's not like, just because you're an Oscar winner the same year, you're going to win an Emmy the same year. I think Emmy voters aren't
going to care about the Oscars. Like, I don't think they're going to go, we want to rubber stamp an Oscar winner.
Exactly.
But I am picking McConaughey at the moment. I'll wait to see the tapes, but I do think it is a very showy performance. Rob, who are you picking?
Oh, I'm going with Cranston for sure. But I think Woody Harrelson is a spoiler, although I could make an argument for any of those guys. And last year, no one really was predicting Jeff Daniels, and he won. So I just think, like, there's no science to this. It's really, really difficult to predict.
We were saying with Daniels he had a tape, though.
He had a tape.
We
He
knew
certainly had a tape.
I had him at number 2.
Yeah, I don't think Daniels has a tape this year.
No, he doesn't. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard. This one's hard. It just depends on the panel. You know, this is obvious. I'm saying the obvious. This depends on the voters who are actually watching the tapes, who are actually deciding. I don't think McConaughey is as much of a threat as many of us think he is. And that's why I think it's really Harrelson, who is the spoiler for Cranston, who will win probably his final Emmy for a while, perhaps, because he's never going to have a role like that again.
Well, if he Breaking Bad wins drama series and he wins actor, he'll have 2 more Emmys to go on his mantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drama actress. We've got Lizzie Caplan from Masters of Sex. I know you would have been stoked about that, Rob. Claire Danes from Homeland. Michelle Dockery back from Downton Abbey. Julian Margulies, The Good Wife. Kerry Washington Scandal. Robin Wright, House of Cards. Rob, tell us why Julianne Margulies is going to win this award.
Well, I'm so glad that she made it back, and she certainly has the episodes to really take it to these other ladies. She is just like the grand dame of the Emmys and of award shows generally. She's won 15,000 SAG awards. She is so beloved by her peers, and with the episode that will take her over the line, and I think I might actually predict her. Although The Good Wife didn't have a very good showing, which really disappoints me, she might take this to, I guess the favourite is probably Robin Wright. Although Lizzie Caplan has the episode, Kerry Washington has a good episode. She has probably 2 or 3 actually to pick from. I haven't seen Michelle Dockery's stuff, so I don't know. And I don't know about Claire Danes. I think that's probably just be happy with the nomination, that you weren't swept away like most of the other Homeland people. And then the only one that I've left, I think that's pretty much it. And by the way, Elizabeth Moss didn't make it in. She had a great submission in the finale that we saw from Mad Men, so that was a bit of a surprise. I just remembered. But yeah, I think Julianne has certainly got a chance. Does anyone else agree with me on that, or am I just completely alone out on a limb?
I agree. It's not just because I like you, Rob.
Riley, tell Rob why he's wrong.
Well, Juliana Margulies, she's doing something similar to Claire Danes and Michelle Dockery in this category, where she's crying over, a dead lover, I guess. I don't know. Claire Danes, I think, more dominates her episode, and she's either crying over, her dead lover, or she's just acting really sad throughout the entire thing. I think the only thing that hurts Claire Danes is that if you take out her tape, she has nothing going for her, because Homeland has not been well received this year. It's gone down in many nominations, and also I think people are getting tired of seeing Claire Danes just at the podium for the Emmys, for Homeland, for Temple Grandin, also at the Globes, at the SAG Awards, at pretty much everything. So if there's any kind of fatigue, that'll hurt her. But going just on tapes, I think that Claire Danes can easily.
Yeah, Emmys don't get tired of seeing anyone at the podium.
Just ask Doris Roberts. Yeah.
Doris Roberts, the Aaron Sorkin during the West Wing years.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. A bit tired of Merritt Weaver at the podium.
They were tired of her. They didn't want to see her. They didn't want to see that speech again. It was a very long speech.
Yeah. They want the longest show possible. But yeah, I this is a category I really want to see the episodes, because I really think this could make choice. I think someone like Julia Margulies has a couple to choose from, and Kerry Washington, I would imagine, has a couple to choose from. It'll be interesting to see which ones they actually choose and how they play against each other. Robin Wright's the one I think that's got a really good tape from a show with a lot of respect. She's got the industry cred behind her, is Robin Wright. I feel like she's my placeholder for the win at the moment, unless one of the other tapes wows me. Or she fumbles the ball over the line and doesn't submit what she should. But Robin Wright's my pick until another tape, a tape that's submitted, really blows me away. Ralph?
Oh, I don't care about this category. Any of them can take it.
Pick someone around. Come on.
No, I think it's for right now until we know the tapes, I'm gonna say Robin Wright because I think she has the strongest one, and like you guys said, she has the industry cred, and then also where else are they gonna? I mean, last year they were able to give it to Fincher in directing the House of Cards big Emmy, but this year Spacey's not gonna win. House of Cards is probably not gonna win drama series. Their biggest chance is gonna be this one with Robin Wright, and she was excellent in her episode, so I'm gonna go with her.
Now, Rob, you said you had to go by 8. I don't want you to get in trouble with your family or your work. Do you have any final thoughts? We're going to be probably wrapping this up in the next sort of 5 minutes anyway.
Okay, well, before I jet off, my final thoughts are I am feeling a little negative about the Television Academy today, but I will get over the snubs and I will start looking at all the good stuff. They did some really good things. Yay, Josh Charles for The Good Wife. Yay for Veep and Orange is the New Black and Silicon Valley and all the other new stuff that they injected into this, into all the old, boring, rubber-stamped stuff that we see every year. So let's just focus on the tapes when we start getting that information, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, I completely agree with all those sentiments, Rob, and I'll now eject you from the chat. See. I'm going to press the button and press the button. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay. See you, Rob. Hopefully he goes. Okay, there we go. We got rid of Rob.
Now let's say what we really think about him.
Yeah, let's do that. So I don't think The Good Wife had that good a year. No, I'm joking. Oh yeah, Kevin in the chat room has said, bring Matthew McConaughey out there and give him a history book if you want a long show at the podium. Yeah, I bet if McConaughey wins, they don't play him off very quickly. I bet they give him a lot of time. Jason, Danes has won enough as much as I love her in Homeland. Surprise lover, does Dockery have a chance to be the spoiler with the first episode of Downton? She does finally have something to do. Yes. Charlie's calling it. Yes. And perfectly, the quality of the show is one thing, but the role of Danes is outstanding. Amazing actress. Yeah, so there we go. Supporting races, guys, we might not go through each of them individually. Was there anything from those nominations, someone to look out for, something that you're particularly interested by, someone you think has the category locked up? Like, any sort of thoughts just from those supporting races, Riley?
Let's see, who do we have?
Yeah, let's have a quick squiz.
I don't know, Anna Gunn and Aaron Paul, I'm still predicting.
Okay. Yeah, the Breaking Bad duo coming back. Yeah, I think they're good predictions. I wonder if Baranski...
What do you guys think in the comedy supporting actress race? I mean, I think that's a little more...
Actress.
Yes, because you've got Kate Mulgrew from Orange is the New Black, and then you have Allison Janney from Mom, who I think is considered the front runner right now, but Mulgrew has an awesome tape, and Orange is the New Black got a lot of nominations, a lot of support. She could potentially upset.
And she's a TV veteran.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think they really like Chuck Lorre shows, these CBS sitcoms, like we've seen John Cryer, Jim Parsons, Melissa McCarthy, guest performances as well. I think they respond well to that very energetic type of acting.
I think if I remember, if I'm thinking correctly, I think even Anna Klumsky might have a tape that could possibly kind of catch us off guard like Tony Hale did last year.
Yeah, I think Anna, and I like, my favorite in this lineup is Anna Klumsky. Like that, she's the person I would most want to win. But I don't think she has a tape that could really, for what the Emmy voters look for, compete with Allison Janney or Kate Mulgrew. But I do, at the same time, agree with you, Charles, that we've seen other surprising wins like Merritt Weaver last year. We wouldn't have rated her tape at all, and she went on to win. So, and given Veep's appeal, that could definitely happen. But I don't think she's got a really strong tape. She's got some good stuff, but I think her best tape she's unlikable in. which could hurt her.
It's true.
Yeah, but I think it'll really depend what the panel's looking for, because Marlborough and Janny both have great tapes, but they're very different performances.
Yeah.
So, I could see either of them winning. I've got Janny out in front though. I think Janny's probably more likely to tick their boxes. What about supporting actor? I guess if Bowen's got a great tape, I could change my mind, but I'll wait to see what she picks. She doesn't have Sofia Vergara to help her out anymore.
Sofia Vergara really always helped her out a lot.
She's on her own.
Yep.
We'll see how she does. She couldn't win last year. I don't know. Maybe she could though. What about comedy supporting actor? Sorry, comedy supporting actor. Who are we liking for this race? Because I think this is a pretty interesting lineup.
I actually want to echo a sentiment that Daniel said earlier. I think the fact that Fred Armisen is in this race for Portlandia is a real game changer here, because unlike other people who get nominated for Saturday Night Live, he's going to just submit a 22-minute tape, and he's going to be playing all sorts of different characters. He'll be in it the whole time. He won't have to be, that people won't have to sit through musical performances or sketches where he's not there. It's if the panel is able to absorb the very just the wonderful strangeness of Portlandia, Fred Armisen has a really good shot here, and that's even before we see what episode.
Yeah, Ralph.
I'm gonna stick with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. He's who I felt after seeing him, or after seeing Message Received, and having such a storyline built around him this year on Modern Family, and being the one that has won an Emmy, and they didn't drop him like they dropped Ed O'Neill or Eric Stonestreet. They kept him in there, showing that he's got some support. I think if he submits correctly, I don't think, because I mean, from what I've seen, I will admit I haven't seen Armisen just because I watched one episode of Portlandia and decided to never watch it again. So I don't really know what he's got. But I don't think Tony Hale has much this year in Veep. He wasn't as standout as he was last year. Ty Burrell could always be a threat. Andre Braugher, a lot of people in our forum say that he should be the front runner, but I don't get it. Just because he's Andre Braugher, and Adam Driver, I think that was just a filler nomination, which is pretty sad.
Tony Hale had a better season, or at least a better episode this year.
What episode would you pick?
Great, where he has his nose bleeds and he has the breakdown in the bathroom with Julia, their maniacal laugh for 3 minutes.
That 3-minute laugh is not going to be a check mark next to your name and an Emmy.
People said his scene last year wasn't enough to get a check mark on that. Yeah,
Emmy, but he also had Arrested Development last year, which I imagine helped him out a bit.
He did. I think it's a good scene. I think then after that scene, that he sort of, it ends the episode with him. That it's sort of in a very, the vice president's left Tony Hale out again. Let's give this guy a hug. I don't know. I think I'm picking Tony Hale at the moment. I definitely agree Armisten's a big spoiler. I definitely agree Tyler Ferguson could do it. I think Andre Braugher is respected enough and has some good enough tapes in the can that he could upset. I think it's a very interesting, and Ty Burrell, people love him. So it's a close race, but I think Tony Hale's looking strong. What do you think, Riley?
I like how you say, Tony Hale, he's got that nosebleed. Suddenly that's an Emmy-winning tape. He could, though, based on last year. Right now, I guess I'm going to go with Andre Braugher. Ralph said, he's Andre Braugher, and that's all there is to it. But yeah, that's actually the entire argument. It's just, the Emmy voters, they love Andre Braugher, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, guys.
I think it's just interesting to note Andre Braugher's only won 2 Emmys. They weren't for the same program. He won in 1998, I think, for Homicide, and he had been nominated several times before that, hadn't won. So that was like almost he had the episode, but it was also an overdue factor. And then he won the lead actor in a movie for that FX show Thief that was canceled, so they decided to submit it as a miniseries. And that was there were 7 nominees that year, and it was a very crowded field. And so I think it's possible, that we're overplaying Andre Braugher, at least in terms of how much the Emmys love him. When you have someone like Tyne Daly has 7 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, Surprise Lover in the chat room says, Hail for Crate will win. Braugher, if he submits Thanksgiving episode, will have a chance to win. So, Surprise Lover, all over the tapes. That's what we like to hear. And Jason agrees with, I can't remember who made this comment, but it was wide open, Ferguson has a tape to win. So there we go. And Ben, I'm happy McKinnon got nom. Never thought about it, but she's definitely one of the best on Saturday Night Live. And we saw another Saturday. Seems like there's just a slot for a sketch variety performance in these comedy supporting races. Yeah. Are there any? I guess we should probably wrap up the chat now. We've been about an hour, so let's go. We start off with the headline. What do we want to close on? We'll go down the line again and just say final Emmy nomination thoughts, and feel free to touch on some of the races we haven't talked about yet, whether it's variety or mini or reality, whatever you want, guys. Floor's yours, Charles.
Oh man, I gotta say, watch out for the Downton Abbey people. I think some of them, including ones we didn't get to, Jim Carter and Joan Froget, they both have very good material this year, and they could pull off huge surprises. So keep that in mind when you're trying to pick your, certain surprise Emmy results. And also, Harry Shearer got nominated for voice acting, a legend in the business. I would love to see him finally pick up an Emmy for the work he does on The Simpsons.
Ralph.
I was really excited with the showing by Fargo. I love Fargo. Alison Tolman, I think that's going to be an interesting race, her versus Julia Roberts, and I hope Tolman takes that one. American Horror Story Coven, I was kind of surprised because it got bashed so much by so many people this season as its weakest season, but it had such a strong showing, and Sarah Paulson got in, so that was really cool. She's a Gold Derby fan, so it was nice to have her in there. And then also the race that actually intrigues me is guest actress in a comedy, because you have the 3 Orange is the New Black girls in there, or gals, and then you have Joan Cusack and Tina Fey and Melissa McCarthy, and I think Joan Cusack finally has a chance to take that Emmy for Shameless because she was so good. And then Uzo Aduba is she's the face of Orange right now, and she's great and a favorite of mine. But Laverne Cox is also really sneaky in this category. Her tape is really good. So I don't know. I think that's a really interesting race, and that's what I got to close on. Oh, and that they really should have nominated Tatiana Maslany. That's all.
Riley.
Ralph just mentioned American Horror Story, and yeah, they're up for writing and directing the first time. I'm glad Fargo's here to win the miniseries category instead. And then Matt, you mentioned variety series. Portlandia is one that's been nominated now 3 years in a row for writing and directing, but they just can't get into variety series, so I don't know what it's going to take for that one. I'll close with Modern Family. Last year, Modern Family won only one other award, aside from Best Comedy Series. This year, they have their fewest nominations ever. They haven't been nominated for writing in years. They lost half their cast. We all acknowledge that there is Modern Family fatigue, and I think most people think that they're not going to win forever. So to those people who are looking for some kind of a sign that'll signal weakness and that the Emmys are ready to move on to something else, how is this not it?
Yeah, my final thoughts is I was interested to see some strategy, some Emmy strategy that paid off. The Shameless switch to the comedy races ended up getting them a lead actor nomination. Veep's decision to only submit one episode for writing this year. on the ballot meant they were able to break into that category, so that paid off well. And finally, like, you look at a few of these like first time upsets that got into the race, whether it's like Lizzie Caplan or Fred Armisen or Ricky Gervais or Lena Headey. Like, what's the common denominator? They did Gold Derby contender chats with us, getting that Gold Derby bump. You know, if you want your first time Emmy nomination, it's not Ricky Gervais's, but it's his first for this show. Maybe Gold Derby's the path to take. Although I guess not everyone we spoke to got Emmy nominations, so not a foolproof strategy, but not a bad one. Definitely didn't hurt those contenders. Do we have some final comments in the chat room? There was one for how about, no, there aren't any new comments in the chat room. Sorry guys. So let's wrap up this chat. It's been so much fun. I haven't done a Slugfest in ages. Yeah, where have I been? It's been so nice to get back talking Emmys with all you lovely people. There's no morons I'd rather speak with than you guys. Yeah, it was really, really fun. So stay tuned on Gold Derby, guys. We're going to have more Slugfest coming up, more Emmy contender interviews, I'm sure. The people who got in now are going to be busting to get all the last-minute votes they can, and keep going to the forums and all that jazz. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for watching.